Blizzard posted an update on player housing, which had a lot of people interested and invested and be like, ooh, what is this? I haven't gone over it yet, so I want to check it out. How is the audio, team? Can you hear me all right? I hope so. If not, let me know. Welcome home, adventurers. Or in this case, welcome to the neighborhood. So far in our series of articles, we've shared information on our philosophy, decorating, and rewards for housing in World of Warcraft, but it is time to bring you into the neighborhood. Briefly mentioned in our first post on housing, let's get into the nitty-gritty of what neighborhoods are and how they work. Before we dive into things, our usual disclaimers apply. Neighborhoods are a work in progress, so names, images, numbers, timing, and more may change between now and when housing is released. Our goal is sharing this ahead of time to get your feedback, so please let us know what you think. So, as a note, I've also seen people mention like, oh yeah, they announced it so-and-so. Like, keep in mind, things are under development. If Garrison's taught us anything, things change while developing. And just, nothing is set in stone. But they do want to keep us in the loop. They want to get us on board with this, what they're working on. Let's see what they're working on. So when it comes to the neighborhood, like a big part of what we learned so far is that the tools that they're going to give us while editing our houses are kind of awesome. So much so that when looking at those tools, I'm like, oh, cool, we could also make like our own dungeons with this. And we could move stuff through walls. And like a lot of freedom when it comes to creating. Because in my mind, it was just going to be Garrisons 2.0. We're going to have like spots where you could put up an Onyxia head. And that's where you're going to be putting a table. But no, it's way more freestyle than I ever imagined it was going to be. But it does leave the question like, okay, how is it going to work in practice? Because they've spoken about how you can go to neighborhoods with your guilds or with randos. But could I also go in a neighborhood by myself and say that we are in a neighborhood and I live next to Mr. C and me and Mr. C, we end up in a falling out and now I don't want him as my neighbor anymore. Do I have any power over that or am I the one who's supposed to move? What about we go in with our guildies and we're at the beginning of the expansion, everybody's happy and excited and then people are dropping off because they're in the same cycle and now their houses are empty. How long until we can replace them? Because now we got new guildies who are happy and exciting and would love to join our community, except there's already houses in there. Do we have the power to kick those people out? Like how we have the power to take over the Guildmaster title after like 3 months. Those kind of nitty-gritty details I'm really interested in. Let's dive into the article. As a quick refresher, homes in World of Warcraft are separated into 2 neighborhood zones, Founders Point for the Alliance and Razorwind Shores for the Horde. Each neighborhood is made up of roughly 50 plots of the same size, all of which are going to contain a house. We want players with different preferences for location to find a plot that's perfect for them, be they vibe-based, it's a vibe, man, or looking for something for a specific character. Some plots are placed far away from everything for the hermits among us, while others are grouped together in small cul-de-sacs of 2 to 3 houses, perfect for a small group of friends. Other houses are in larger groupings of folks looking for more hustle and bustle. Similarly, there's a variety of biomes in each zone, ranging from the Founders Point spooky forest and optimal farmlands, to the lush oasis and windswept bluffs in the Razorwind Shores. In both neighborhoods, you'll find a dynamic central hub area full of both NPC activity and endeavors. Keep reading. I like how it said keep reading because I was about to comment on this, but thanks Bliss, this helps a lot. An important consideration for us, and one for the reasons that these zones are so big, is that we want to give players ample space. Partially because having a yard that you can decorate really lets people express themselves. But also, we're getting a yard? But also because we wanted to make sure that there's enough room between plots that players didn't run afoul of each other's yards. You won't have to worry about your neighborhood's old growth tree jutting through your delicate constructed hedge maze. That looks so cute though. Ah, you could get like in a Duskwood area. Yo, I know where I'm gonna be living. A rainbow waterfall with your little house. Come on. So that's cool though. So we are actually gonna be able to decorate. So we're gonna get like a yard. That's cool though. We were talking about like in Final Fantasy 14. We've done houses, and I was living next to someone, and I built like a row of these statues you could put outside, like my Titan army. That was like my wall, and they were my Dinkelberg, and it was awesome. And we talked about it, like you can like RP and make your own stories in your own neighborhood. It's kind of cool. So to see outside decoration as well. Oh, another thing I'm really curious about is how does it work with like allowing people into your house? Were you able to block people off? Is it open invite? Is it just anybody can come in? Will we have those settings? And I'm hoping that we're going to get those as well. The housing organizations in Azeroth. Oh, here we go. It's not just a question of where you choose to live, but who do you choose to live near that is important. And don't you worry, there aren't actually any homeowner associations here, unless players choose to implement them. Neighborhoods are persistent, so anyone you live nearby will be your neighbor forevermore, making this decision important. Though you can move at any time, so don't worry too much. This will allow your neighborhoods to be customized, and you can work with other players to progress it together. There are two types of neighborhoods. There's going to be public and private. The public one created as needed by the game servers, and anyone can buy a house. As they fill up, new instances are created, so players looking for a house shouldn't see a message about all the neighborhoods being full. Public neighborhoods are run by the game as well, including naming it with a semi-procedurally generated name, organizing endeavors, again see below, and keeping the neighborhood running however it is needed. Okay, and then the private ones, these are created and owned by players, either by a guild or as guild neighborhoods, or by arbitrary groups of players as character neighborhoods. To create and maintain a private neighborhood, there's a minimum number of players, not characters, who must be in the guild or charter, as well as eventual minimum number of players who must live in the neighborhood. This is due to technical concerns around server and database performance, as neighborhoods are significantly more complicated than a simple instance. Guild and charter neighborhoods have largely the same functionality. They can be named by the owners, and the names do not have to be unique, though they do have delimiters to differentiate them from one another. Player control who can live in them. For guilds, this is through the guild roster. If a guild removes someone, the player will also be removed from the neighborhood. Charters have manual control over who can live there through a special UI. Officers are gonna be able to vacate you out of your home! There's a permission system for who can control the settings and membership. Managing endeavors is the responsibility of the owner and the managers. Whoa, that is sick. Oh, the toxicity that's gonna lead to this is gonna be amazing. Sorry, I got really excited here. Imagine loot drama, guild drama, raid drama, and you log in the first day and your house is gone. There is one big difference between guild and charter neighborhoods. Guild neighborhoods will have homes available for everyone in the guild through additional attached instances, regardless of the guild size, while charters are limited to the maximum number of plots in the neighborhood. Oh, so that's actually kind of sick. So no matter how big your guild is, as long as it's on the guild roster, you could get them in there. So one thing that I do have in mind, right? One thing that I'm wondering about is, do I get to store my house design? Because, okay, fair enough. If I join a guild roster, I'm at the mercy of the guild if I'm in that zone or not. Fair enough. They have the power. That's something you sign up for knowingly and willingly. But what happens to my collection? What happens to all the stuff that I put in my house? Do I now have to redo all of it? Can I store it in like a blueprint? And can I then bring it over into a new house? I'm curious about that part. Sinkani, welcome in. Can we have a house in a hill alone? Yes, actually a little bit earlier in this article. They made mention of there are places where if you like to prefer more on your own, you can make a house. They keep reading? Ah, sick. Okay. Don't you be my neighbor. Summon stones. What? Summon stones? Are they just decorative, or are we going to be able to summon people to our houses? Oh, look at that beachside little decor that got going on. That is... Oh, I love how they've just taken places out of the world and they're like, there you go, that's a house now. Sick. Alright, cool. Little cacti. Ha. What happens if I don't like my neighbors or the neighborhood? Okay. We have designed this to be frictionless and straightforward, so you can just get up and move. You can choose to relinquish a house at any time, at which point your house state will be saved, ready to be unpacked with a click when you purchase a new house elsewhere. When you move out, there's a regret timer started, so if you change your mind before purchasing a new house, you can move right back in. Once you buy a new place, or the time it elapses, your old house will go back up for sale, and another player can buy it. It is worth calling out that if you are evicted, your house is also packed up too. So that enforces my hope and dream that we can actually make designs for other players as well. That you could now have people in this game pre-plan your house and possibly give you like an add-on in order to, you know, that would be so sick. Can people just walk into my yard or my house? It depends. We want your house to be your space and for you to feel safe, but also recognize that some people are more social. To that end, both your plot and your house have independent permissions that can be set to allow or deny friends, guildmates, neighbors, or anyone. Oh, this is so good. This lets you, for example, allow anyone on your plot, but only friends and guildmates inside. Of course, there's permissions can be changed at any time. If you want to make it private for a book club meeting in the afternoon, and then open up for a dance party at night, you know. These permissions are frequently checked, so if you do change them, it will remove anyone whose permissions are no longer valid. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. They even make mention of the difference between on your plot and in your house. So you could ban people from your garden if you like. Or you can like bring them to your door and then not in the house. And then, you know, have like a little private party inside. Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of sick. I like that. And this is where we talk about endeavors. Endeavors are a neighborhood. I actually got the hat. Endeavors are a neighborhood-wide activity open to anyone who lives in the neighborhood. Endeavors occur approximately once a month, and when a new endeavor becomes available in the neighborhood, is provided with the opportunity to learn from various cultures and factions of Azeroth by completing different tasks. Players in private neighborhoods can choose from a selection of endeavors. Occasionally, a set endeavor appears to highlight things happening in the world. In public neighborhoods, the game servers are responsible for choosing which endeavors are active. Each endeavor has a group of tasks that are collectively completed by the neighborhood. As tasks are completed, more NPCs from the area show up, making various themed decorations available to the neighborhood inhabitants, or even visiting players from other neighborhoods. And the neighborhood changes visually to be decorated in that faction's fashion. The number of tasks required scales with the neighborhood size. So, a 50-player neighborhood, they will have to complete more tasks than a 10-player neighborhood. Similarly, if a neighborhood is less active, future endeavors for that neighborhood will also scale the requirements down to accommodate. No endeavor activated. Val'sharah endeavor. So the fucking Emerald Nightmare will invade your city and deal with it? I love that so much, because it means that you're not just isolated in your own city. The world, the story, Azeroth itself, still plays a part in the town that you're hanging out in. So even in your town, you are still part of whatever's happening. I really like that. That's a really cool setting. Of course, it kind of depends on the tasks. Like, tasks themselves. Like, what is it? Are we going to click on shiny roots on the ground? Are we going to be fighting bosses? Are we going to be asked to get, like, resources Ankarage style? The tasks themselves run the commuter gameplay. Oh. Maybe you should read. From crafting to gathering to questing to completing dungeon raids, we want there to always be a way for any given player to contribute to the endeavor, regardless of how they choose to engage with World of Warcraft. Successfully completing tasks not only yields rewards expected from that sort of task gameplay, but also grants a new type of endeavor currency, which is shared across all endeavors, as well as a neighborhood favor. Neighborhood favor is used to level up your house and earn rewards, while the endeavor currency is used to buy decorations from the visiting NPCs in either your neighborhood or your friend's neighborhood. Cool. Increase the core limit. Ah, okay. So over time, you can upgrade the town. Huh. Interesting. Find a house. Huh. Okay. Once enough tasks have been completed in an endeavor, the entire neighborhood is rewarded together with bonus endeavor currency and neighborhood favor, as well as the ability to purchase all the decorations all at the NPC, provided players have sufficient currency. Our goals for endeavors are threefold. To give the neighborhood a common goal to rally around and be rewarded for it collectively. It feels good to complete things together and want to encourage both synchronous and asynchronous play with your neighbors. 2. To give neighborhoods a choice in how things are visually presented on a larger scale, not just an individual player-owned plots. And 3. Introduce some asymmetry between neighborhoods to make visiting other neighborhoods more interesting. Time to get out of town. This is just the start of what we're planning for neighborhoods and endeavors. Having a large-scale, persistent multiplayer space and the ability for players to collectively contribute to it is truly exciting for us, and we can't wait to build on with you. What do you find most exciting? Keep the feedback coming, and we'll see you next time. Okay. I mean, those were like my major concerns, my major questions answered. Now it becomes the question of how do you procure a house? Like, what is the price going to be? They mentioned you have to buy it. What do we need to do in order to buy it? How much gold is it going to cost? I also wonder if on different plots we'll be able to build like different houses. Is it going to be something like imagine if you're doing a guild town, will we also get like a guild house that you collectively work on instead of your individual plots? You know, Final Fantasy style. That'd be kind of sick, not gonna lie. These events sound really interesting. Am I anything else that I'm like worried about? Not really. I mean, one thing that comes to mind is how is this going to influence what you see happening in the real world? And the question becomes, will we still see people in whatever capital city that we have? Or is everybody going to chill in their own plots? And we spoke about it last time. I think Ilandra mentioned that as well. That a big reason as to why you still go outside is to go to the profession table. And what I would like to see them do is... This is all great. This is all fine. This is all delicious. Yes, please. Thank you. Let's do it. But what I'd like to see them do is add more to the capital city to do. So... By that I mean like the anniversary thing that we did with like the mount up, or the trial of style publicly, or Cho telling little stories and whatnot. Like make a mini event center where people can come off and like show off their toys together, so they still have a reason to go to the capitals. But at the same time, like if this is what brings people into whatever they want to be, is that really the end of the world? You'll still see them in the open world doing events, doing world quests, doing dungeons and raids. It's just, instead of chilling in the capital, they're now chilling in their own houses. Then I wonder how easy is it going to be in order to visit each other. But what this describes is that it entirely depends on your settings. What I was worried about is that we were going to see like a Mr. Pandaria farm. For those that weren't there back in the day, you couldn't join somebody else their farm unless you were in their party. In the same vein, or maybe not at all, I think in the party. In the same vein where you couldn't join anybody else their garrison unless you were in their party or in their raid. And this describes as, oh yeah, we're gonna have general settings to allow people or to deny them access. Which means that it could be open at all times. And I think that is gonna be such a huge difference, because if I make a cool house, I want people to come into my house, sign my little book and be like, yo, that's a really cool house. And I'll be like, thank you. That's what I want. It's to brag. It's to show off. It's like, oh, you got the sword of 1,000 truths hanging in front of your fireplace. How did you get that sword? And I'll be like, well, let me tell you, right? What you need to do is get like 50,000 achievement points, and you too can get the sword of 1,000 truths. Because how can you kill that which has no life, right? Like that kind of like prestigious shit they could put up in the house, and people are like, oh, how do I get that? And they go out to go and play it and collect it. Like, I mentioned this a couple of times when we went through these presentations, and especially when they started to show off how you can move the furniture around and how much freedom it's going to give. They are making massive, massive, massive changes to WoW. If this plays out the way that there are in the articles, and obviously things will still change, it's under development, we'll see if it's actually available once it's there. But if it's like the way that they describe it, then I think player housing is going to change WoW forever. No meme, no YouTube clickbait title, because it can be integrated into so many different aspects of the game. Professions, collecting, achievements, raiding, dungeoneering, pet battles, everything can be in order to make your house look a little bit cooler, in order to do something for your house. And people want this for so long. I've seen people respond to this with like, oh man, 20 years too late, Blizzard. And I'm like, that's I don't get that comment. Like, what do you want Blizzard to do? Like, throw up their hands in the air and be like, oh no! Player 5,300 no longer plays and they're not gonna enjoy player housing. Well, we might as well not develop anything anymore. And it's like, what the fuck do you want them to do, right? Maybe we could be, you know, congratulating them actually on cool shit. That'd be nice. So yeah, I'm super excited about player housing. I really, really hope that this is gonna be awesome. I really do. But time's gonna tell. Like, I'm hoping that we're gonna see testing and like, you know, Gamescom is around the corner. End of next month, yeah? So I'm guessing it's gonna be closer and closer now. Ooh. Any questions, chat, before I close off the YouTube recording? Do we get the rewards that we got before the housing unlocks? I think so. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I think so, because they made mention of a Legion meta achievement that they were like, go get it now because you got time anyways, right? I think so. That was during the last presentation, but I'm not 100% certain. But yeah, I think that you can already collect and prep for what's to come. Your little limbs at beach house? Aww. Our house is like limited in a sense that if many people want a house by the waterfall, is there a limitation to get it? That is a good question as well. And I think it is going to be that way. Because they make mention on how you got to buy a certain house. And they make mention about, you know, you can get a plot far away from other people, or like the busy part or the forest part. But I imagine that there's only so many people that can live on next to the waterfall, right? Like, you can only have one house next to it, because you can't have your neighbor directly on top of you. Unless they're gonna do, like, phasing where you can swap between two houses. But then you nuke the whole option of, oh yeah, anybody can just walk in. So I'm going to imagine that it's gonna be a first-come, first-serve system. Yeah, I think, like, too bad you weren't fast enough to get it. I think that's gonna be the idea, yeah. But that is definitely still up in the air, like, the acquisition of the houses. How much do you need to pay? How do you get it? How do you get a plot? The article addresses it? Where? Always start a new instance neighborhood that has own a waterfall. True, but then you would have to have a charter or a guild. I wonder, actually, now that we're talking about it, do you need people to sign like a guild charter in order to get a house? Or is it enough to just have a guild? Imagine if you get like 10 people to sign your guild charter and you become guild master. Does that mean you can now make a town for your guild? A public neighborhood, you say, I want this plot, and then you'll be sorted to the public neighborhood, which has this plot free for you. Yeah, okay, but what about a guild plot then? Public plot. These are created as needed by the game server, and anybody can buy a house in them. As they fill up, new instances are created, so players looking for a house shouldn't see a message about all the neighborhoods being full. Public neighborhoods are run by the game as well, including name, organizing endeavors, and keeping the neighborhood running however is needed. These are created by other players. Private neighborhood, there's a minimum number of players who must be in the guild. Oh, okay, there's a minimum amount of people that you need in your guild. Oh, okay. Right, okay, they just don't specify what is the minimum number, but you do need an X amount of people in your guild. Yeah, exactly, like, just get your alts in that. I wonder, like, there would definitely be a market, because they're worried about the technical concerns. But okay, say that they put, like, 20 people that need to be in your guild. I got 5 million alts that I could put in somebody's guild. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So, per player, not per character. So, it says players, not characters. Oh, so you're thinking your one account. Oh, so you can only do per account. Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay. And then trial accounts will be excluded. Yeah. So, yeah, then we're thinking about like battle chests and subs for like one period of time. What if your guild empties out? Do you lose your housing plot then? What if... Alright, well, okay, so hear me out. What if I want a neighborhood just for myself, and I get the X amount of number, let's say 50. Massive, right? I get 50 people to sign up to my guild. All unique accounts, haven't gotten a house in any other plots. They join me, they get into my housing, and they're like, alright, Noble, have fun, bye. Do I now lose my house as well because I no longer have a guild? Is that how it works? To create and maintain. What difference does it make if a guild of 3 makes a neighborhood? Yeah, I think it comes into terms of like their servers, Oily. Because at the beginning, like one of the first presentations, they had like everybody can get a house and no limitations. You want a house, you're gonna get a house. And then later they were like, oh, let's specify though. You're gonna get one on the Alliance and one on the Horde. That's it. All right. And now they specify like, yeah, but you do need, like, if you want to make a guild server, you do need X amount of players in there. But I wonder the intricate details as in, you know, what if my guild disbands? What if all of them are like, we don't like them, and now did I lose my house? Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Can't wait to try it out, though. I can't wait to actually see this. What if none of my guildies know how to decorate? Well, that's what I'm thinking. Imagine, right? Like, they're talking about you can save your house, meaning that the game has the option to remind itself to remember how you decorated your house. So they're going to remember table was put on B square in this direction. But from that, you would argue, like, okay, if you can remember what I've done, then you could also remember what someone else has done, right? And if not through an add-on with, like, blueprints or whatever, what if you invite someone to help you decorate? Could you decorate someone else's house? Could you become a decorator, like a proper profession? Huh. That's cool. Yeah, I know. I'm not often on, but yeah. Oh. That'd actually be kind of sick to imagine, like a profession as like a carpenter where you can make bind on drop unique items or collect paints in the world that are nowhere else available, and that is your niche, right? You could make it like a secondary profession. It doesn't need to be a main profession, like secondary. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking about it. So in Final Fantasy XIV, you actually have people that do decorations. Now, I'm not going to say how you pay those people for doing the decorations. I would never, ever make mention how you do that. But yes, there are people that will go in, decorate your house, whatever you like it, and then, you know, you pay them an ERP, yeah, they dance on top of you. I got clips of those moments. Yeah, so they will. And I'm saying, like, for WoW, they could definitely do something like that as well. You do wonder, like, okay, how about the permissions? Want to let all your battle pets roam the house? Like, in the front yard. Garrisons had that technology. Surely they can make the technology available for houses, right? I wonder, how does it work out with server space? How does it work out with what they're doing? Because I remember in Final Fantasy, at some point we were doing a New Year party. And there were so many players there that at some point they started asking, like, please, can you dismiss your pets? Because pets would take up a slot that could go into the house so that we can get more people into the fucking house, right? And I wonder what is going to happen on Blizzard's backend. Like, how is this going to operate? How is this going to run? I'm curious what they got, because this seems to be so much more advanced than Garrisons ever were. I was there, man. Waters to Denver announcement. You could put your garrison wherever you like. You like this waterfall in Moon Shadowlands, that you could put it next to the waterfall. You like the train station, you could put it next to the train. And then I was like, nah, you can put it in one location. And then I was like, you could barely put it in one location. And now nobody can go into your house. And now this and that. And in this case, Blizzard is further in development than I ever thought. Because if you listen to their interviews, this is not something they've been recently doing. This is something that's been years in the works. I am super curious, yeah. But hey, all in all, especially, like, not even the information that they give, but especially the communication part, Blizzard, if you're listening, is so good. Just, you know, clear communication. This is what we're working on. Want to hear your feedback. This is what we're thinking. This is what we're doing. Is mwah, mwah.